it's sending it as if it's a user to this model. And it's delegating these to this. And when this is done, it'll tell the voice model. But while it's doing that, I can just continue a conversation with the voice model. And unlike most other voice model systems, me talking to it isn't going to stop its tracks with whatever it was doing from the last thing. Because in most other voice setups, what happens is like a walkie-talkie situation. It's like you tell it to do something, and then you gotta make sure you mute it so it doesn't hear you, because if you say anything else, it's gonna stop whatever it was doing before and just answer your response, and it's not gonna continue unless you tell it to. And also, this is one of the models that has the ability to both respond to you and generate responses.
The initial check shows that
as well as
Postgres
listen to
SQL
what you're saying.
service is not currently running on this machine. TES can still use its offline entity index, and I'm confirming that path.
Okay, in the meantime, let's get it up and running, and I want to update it as we have this conversation. I also want you to try using
Let me check that.
I also want you to try using our tab CLI system to spin up a browser that I can use, and let's use the Excalidraw system to see if I can use the whiteboard there and see if we can use saved states and or create a saved state.
Got it. I'll check that.
Okay. I've never done this before. It's very premature. It's not. I think it'll be a lot better by next week. But this is the current interface I'm using. I have a third-party one I was creating where it's like using local models I can run, such as Kokoro and what's the other one? The other one was Whisper. Whisper and Kokoro to have my own version, but those models do not have two-way stuff where it can basically generate stuff while also listening to you. So it's not as seamless of a conversation. So far, the only way I can have that is with this. I've looked into a few open source things, but so far this is the leading the race. So I've been testing out making this be my main interface currently, and then it can just orchestrate with a bunch of other stuff, with all the other systems. And of course, I still use other harnesses. For example, this is my Claude Code system. This one is the Cursor system, and of course, Codex.
I found existing private Excalidraw scenes and a named tab profile. The Canvas service is stopped, so I'm starting that existing service now without changing its configuration, so we can restore the right scene.
And by Canvas, you don't mean Canvas LMS, correct?
Let me confirm that. Correct. I mean the local Excalidraw Canvas service, not Canvas LMS.
Great, I can see the whiteboard. So now that I can see that, what I want to do is I want to try writing it, and I also want to see if you have the ability to write it using our systems. I know we originally had an MCP server for that, but did we ever create CLI for that?
Let me check that for you. I'm checking the existing Excalidraw integration for a real CLI before I write a small labeled test node, and I'll preserve the board and saved scenes.
So the reason I'm doing this, so if you go into the ChatGPT desktop app, it does in fact have a built-in browser. However, it's not cross-platform. So if you want to, for example, start a chat session within a given harness, and then continue with another harness, and be using the same browser, it's not going to be able to do that. But with this, I can do stuff on the same browser, and regardless of where I start a chat session from, or which chat session is going to be actually doing things in which harness, it's going to be able to use the same thing. So here we go. So right now it's using the Excalidraw system. It's not perfect, but it's able to use it to write stuff. And it's a little bit wonky, but we're getting there slowly over time. But with this, for example, we might be able to do things like we were doing earlier.
MCP write interface and a documented local REST endpoint, but not a standalone shell CLI. I've added a small test text element to the empty current scene and am verifying it on the visible board.
But yeah, so one of the things I'm wanting to try out is to see if in meetings we can have an AI agent that can keep notes for us and update memory systems, and it can be shared so that anybody in the AI society can access the same shared agent that we might host on a server. Because I know that you were saying earlier that Christine, didn't you say that we got access
to Docker, but I think you need
I'm using
to,
the supported local integration.
I strongly recommend like the first week of school, show up to Cloud Computing Society on Thursdays, and then from there we have like friends named Roger and I forgot the blonde guy's name. Okay, maybe we're not friends then, but they know how to set up Docker. They actually set it up on my computer as well, but I don't know how to use it. But yeah, you have access to that for free. And AWS stuff. I noticed you were working on that project last week. But yeah, collaboration is key to making greater things happen.
So one of the things I've been looking into is, for example, we can put that on a server, anybody can access it, and they can continue working with that model. With that, you can also have something similar to how we have branches in Git, where each person can have their own branched version of the agent, and they can have their own personal memory that they don't want to share with people, but they can also have memory they do in fact want to share with the AI society, like what they prefer to do, what projects they want to do, and so on and so forth. However, not only that, but if they forget what happened in a previous meeting, it's important to some kind of project they're working on. They might go, oh yeah, hey, whatever you want to call your agent. What happened last meeting? What should I know? Oh yeah, let me just show you. It was this stuff. Here's the notes. Here's the transcript.
They have notes, they have video, so they have to hold like options.
Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, they have video and text, so you kind of like made it so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, with that, that's one of the things I've been thinking of doing, as well as shared whiteboards. Where, for example, we can go, hey, like this is the architecture I want to do for this project, and people can always be able to access that. Instead of we write on the whiteboard every single time, and then we just take screenshots of it. But with this, it's like if somebody wants to make an update to it before another meeting, instead of having to call a meeting every single time you want to make an update to it, you just draw it out. I don't know.
In the meantime, I'll be saying Excalibur, saying two Excalibur things, running all my stuff on one, using the second one as the test one in case the AI wants to erase everything or something like that. And we can use it even without the AI agent.
So in the meantime, I'm working on a system that I can use to share and host an Excalibur. What's it called? Browser session, yeah. Excalibur session that everybody can join in on. But in the meantime, I mainly just have this. So I want to try this out and see how well this works. Or if this setup would just lead to the model interrupting every 5 seconds. Because it works well one-on-one. But I'm wondering how it would work in like a meeting setup. So is it all right for you guys if like just try this out? All right. Okay. What's up, Tess? How's it going? So I'm going to call you Tess now, and that's going to be the system messenger. So as well as just the whole system. Can you hear me?
Works fine. What would you like to do next?
Okay. So Tess, what I want to do now is we're going to have this meeting. We have multiple people here in this AI Society meeting, and we're going to be discussing a few things and writing them on this whiteboard. Are you able to see the whiteboard well, and how are you doing that? Are you mainly using the tab CLI to do that? Is that the best way for you?
Let me check that for you. I can see and update it well. For writing, I'm using the Excalibur integration, which is better for structured notes, and the tab CLI mainly for keeping the live browser view in sync for everyone.
Yeah, but you should probably be using it for screenshotting and checking that things actually look as they should, right?
Let me check how that's set up. Exactly. I'll write through the structured interface, then use tab CLI screenshots to confirm placement, readability, and overall layout.
Great.
That way, we
Okay,
get
so now
precise edits
what
and
I
a
want you
human
to
quality
do
visual
is
check.
you're mainly just going to be a listener, and you're only going to respond when spoken to, like whenever we use your name's Tess. We, however, are going to just talk, and you are going to take notes and update the context engineering and also the database systems if you can get them up and running with like notes about this stuff, so you can maintain memory about it. And you're only going to respond.
Let me check that. Understood? I'll listen, take structured notes, and only respond when addressed as tests.
Okay, we'll see how well it actually is. Okay, so real quick. So it's summer. I know a lot of people want to do different things. As far as I can tell, there's two main things that I've identified that we would come and meet here to do, which is one, plan for the upcoming semesters of fall and winter. And we're going to have more people and figure out what we're going to do. And two, figure out projects to maybe do a very small sprint this summer while we might have a bit more time before that fall and winter semester comes. We won't have a lot of people to do it.
You know, like 3 weeks left.
Yeah, I mean, not much time. So I don't know how much of that we can actually do. But I don't know. What would you guys prefer to lean more on if you guys want to keep on meeting up this summer?
The first thing was planning like goals and projects for the semester versus.
Part of it's like, for example, the main way that I like to represent it is so we have a society, and there's different people that we're going to have in society. We have people who are mainly very technical. We have people who want to be technical, who want to build AI systems. So builders of AI systems. So then we have people who mainly want to be AI users. We had a lot of those last semester. Makes sense for this, for instance. So I'll just go AI. Then we have people who are beginners, people who are experts. So last semester, we had almost all beginners. The semester before that, we had people that were we had people that really knew what they were doing, but they were a small amount of them. And then we had people who didn't know what they were doing, including myself. And there wasn't really a clear path to get to a point where you can do a lot of stuff. You just kind of have to learn on your own until eventually you know enough to help with projects and adjust and stuff. I'm still learning a lot, right? I think you, Aiden, out of all of us, know the most about AI in this room. And Drew especially knows a lot about AI systems and stuff, making MCP servers and tools and RAG. But of course, he also has doesn't have as much time because he's working on his startup for basically making innovations with vector database systems. But yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'm pretty sure that he'll be coming back in the fall, and he'll be president of the AI Society. And I'll just be helping him out with whatever I can. And learning from him whenever he has time. But there's two main things that we can do with these groups of people as far as what an AI society does. So as a society, what do we even want to do? As far as I can see, go bigger. But the whole reason you want to go bigger is because you want to be able to do certain projects and be a part of a really big, cool, awesome project.
That's what I was going to say to answer your question. What are we doing projects or this and that? I think, right now, summer semester, defining all that, define what the society is, and then from there, what it's gonna do. So like, they go to school, get jobs, learn enough information to have good careers. So AI society basically teaches us how to build, how to use, how to become better AI engineers, so we have a better fighting chance in the marketplace. Stuff.
Well, two things. First, I agree, we need to figure out what we want to do. Part of it's gonna be seeing what people are actually interested in, what they're interested in. I would wanna push everyone into a huge rabbit hole of knowledge graphs and stuff, but that's not what we're trying to do with AI.
Yeah.
So that's something we'll need to tread the water, we need to test the waters, if fall comes around. But also, I mean, it's tricky because we don't actually have all that much time. We don't have all that much instructive material, structure to be able to teach them enough to create a career.
It's not like data science society.
Yes,
Right.
this isn't a class either.
Yeah.
It's a society. So I don't know. The role of the society is something interesting. It can help guide people towards projects that they can learn a lot from. I've learned more from projects than I have in any class I've had. But
Yeah.
we need to figure out what people.
Yeah. So we've got really cool, really awesome projects. Also cool, awesome projects, but also a way of actually learning and like maybe something that can supplement the lack of classes in a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Because I know that they're currently making courses, but it's very new and like they're still figuring out how to do it. And I've seen, of course, and I've taken a lot of the machine learning classes. Even so, it was a lot to get in a very short amount of time. So I did enough to like get to the superficial level enough to pass the class.
Yeah.
And like I just get a good grade, right? But part of what I really like in a society is I can go deeper. So one of it is a project. But another thing is a little bit more personal learning, where it's like somebody might be a project manager and they might have a little bit of time that they put aside towards helping people that are trying to learn and really want to do on this project, but they're one level below. If they're like 5 levels below, you gotta get them like some low level project, right? But if they're 1 level below, like you can get them to that point, right? But I think what at least I've been looking for, what brought me to the AI Society, what I really liked about it was I came here looking to like make better memory systems for AI systems I wanted to have, because a lot of them suck. And it was just something I wasn't seeing a lot of the main providers are making. And then I went to the Computer Drop-In Lab, and Titor was the president of that at the time, and also of the AI Society, and also of the Computing Society. So he was like, "Hey, you should come by to our like AI Society thing." Then I met Drew, and Drew really wanted to teach me vector database stuff. And it was kind of confusing, but I just kept on asking questions and stuff, and eventually got it. And and then I would just talk to them about that and knowledge graphs and context engineering and so on. And so I love that. That's one of the things that I'm super in. It's like I want to be able to get to a project where I can improve myself, and I want the ability to get there to the point where I actually have the ability to do it. Which, like, we have classes with making machine learning models. We're lacking in classes with what to do once you have a model. Like, we lack a lot of classes that really get into teaching, like, even just how your basic LLM experience works. Like, sure, an LLM that you can access with an API is different. But when you get on like ChatGPT or something, what's actually happening? It's not just that. It's not just a model. It's you have a model and then you have a system built around it. You have on the input side, the output side, you have a little bit of context engineering around that. You have a system prompt. You have ways that it's keeping track of the chat history and injecting it into every single prompt. And knowing that like an AI model doesn't actually have memory because we've lacked the ability to like get it to learn new stuff without forgetting the old stuff, without lots of money and time and like a bajillion servers and so on. Which is why in order to circumvent that, you have to like get this whole system around it. But the system isn't taught. Like we learn how to make the model. Like we take a machine learning class where you make, and a few special topic class, where you can make like a very small LLM, or the beginnings of an LLM. like right up to like learning how transistors work. Not transistors, transformers, right? But we aren't being taught how to set up system prompts and skills and how to manage all of that and progressive disclosure, and then how to set up MCP servers and tools and create your own. And yeah,
I think you can combine the two ideas, because I agree projects you learn a ton from. Take all the projects, break them down into difficulty, or break the project into parts that are more or less difficult. Have the first week or two teaching all of the boot camp or crash course of here's how you actually use LLMs and skill trees and models and everything. Here's how you can effectively use these now. Here's the 4 projects that we have. If you're a beginner, all of them have parts that are beginner worthy.
yeah,
And you can jump in and start doing stuff already.
yeah. I think also as far as stuff that is lacking, we don't have integrations as much. Like how to set up an integration with the model. Also, last thing, RAC. We hardly teach RAC at this university. Like you have to learn almost all of them on your own.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn how to make a RAC system, you gotta do that. Which is part of why I like studying it, because I like to learn RAC. Yeah.
And a lot of people learned it from here too.
Yeah.
I didn't know what racks were before I started popping up here every so often. It's actually really come in handy.
Yeah. And so basically, I think as a society, we might be able to help supplement the things that we don't have classes for. And also, even for the things we do have classes for, offer a little bit more personal teaching. And of course, I'm super into that. So I like learning that way, I like teaching that way. So, yeah.
Could have all the experts pulled off to the other half of the classroom. So everyone could be working on the projects, and especially beginners are like, okay, I got my stuff, I did one thing, I don't know what to do at this point. Let me go get tutored, essentially.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that Dallas and I were talking about last semester. Like, we really might need to fragment a little bit, where we have one group of people that's like, okay, you guys already know pretty much most of what you need to do in order to do a project. That's just basic stuff, right? And then you have another group, which is, okay, we're gonna teach you guys until you get to a point where you are at that level.
Again, combine it. Have the first week as tutoring, teaching, crash course. Everyone that already knows stuff becomes de facto project leads and starts working on the projects already. Once the other people are done with their 2-3 week crash course, they're jumping into the projects they like.
Yeah, I like that. So, okay, you have that.
Do we have people that we know that want to be teachers, tutors for those crash courses?
I do.
Okay.
Although I know if Dallas is going to be here for fall and winter, I know he's really into teaching the things like people mainly just want to use AI, right? They might not be super technical, might not want to make AI systems, they just want to use AI.
Yeah.
So he's more into that. I'm more into teaching whatever I currently know at the level I'm currently at to people that want to learn about building AI systems. And I would need to learn more about creating AI models in order to teach on that stuff. I don't think I'm qualified to teach that kind of stuff, but I do know a lot about AI system stuff.
You could teach basics of things like distillation,
Hmm.
like, or learning the point of it, why do you want to include distilled models in your systems?
And then there's, I think the third thing that's kind of in the middle is agentic engineering, which is just
For shitty coders like me, I can't.
well, I think in a way it's one step up from vibe coding. Because vibe coding is like you use AI to create software, but you have no idea what's going on. But agentic engineering is you actually know what's going on, and you aren't going to get into knowledge debt or tech debt, where you don't know what's happening and don't know why it's breaking. And I'm also willing to share what I've learned about that stuff as well.
I mean,
So yeah,
able to effectively teach people how to use agentic to specifically ask for what they're looking for. I think it kind of removes a huge barrier too for other people to use AI. Right? Like I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other bio people who are like, hey, I want to use this to look for sort through 9,000 proteins. I don't know how to ask. I don't know how to set a computer to it. So it's like I don't know. I think that could be a really big barrier to entry.
We talked to crash course too. Crash course would be modeled on who's here.
Like, I'm definitely interested in the beginners area and see it's getting people to adopt new ways of doing things is definitely a communication challenge.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll put a third thing here, which is agentic engineering.
Last week, that is one piece.
So kind of just say, where are you on the six-pack here? What app are you?
As far as what people actually want to get out of the society, we have being able to make cool projects and get well known because of it. Yeah. And just be able to expand their influence and so on. And I think the other thing might be getting to a point where you can actually make some money and like make a living in this industry. Because I think this is one of the other areas where societies might supplement a lot more, which is as AI has like been adopted by more and more companies, less and less of them are seeing the need for junior developers. And so like the more traditional ways that you would get an entry level position at a company are kind of going away. And so what they're and we're getting to more and more and more of a thing of, well, in order to get into this entry level job where it's going to be the first time you ever enter this industry, you have to have experience. And so it's okay. You have to have already done the job before you even done your first job. But hey, societies are great for that because you're able to make projects, and who knows, maybe you could even do a project that actual people use. Like you have real clients on a regular basis using it, and you can point an interview to that or something. Or
something you can put on a portfolio.
yeah, or who knows, maybe even have that be the start to making money, where it's like you have teams of people who are in charge of working with clients and stuff that are clients of the society, and then they actually pay you for using it, and you can pay the people that are actually doing the projects. So who knows? I don't know. But is that something that you guys think would be a good thing to aim for?
We need approval from admin people who are doing that. Money changing hands.
Possibly. I have to look into that.
We might need to talk to who is the department chair, and then you would talk to AI Society.
Whoever
I think
buys
it's
the
what
food.
it is we talk
Just for the years, since you, yeah,
Whoever
those
buys the
connections.
food has access to the money.
I recall you kind of mentioning having like connections to old BYU students who have done cool projects in the past, whether we could kind of like, I don't know, use it or access it. I was supposed to help centralize all of it. It's like it may not be a realistic task.
Yeah. Well, another thing too is that we could provide a pipeline, because I know the Data Science Society does this a lot, where they network and they know people that like have companies, and they're looking for people that they can take on as interns, or they're looking for people that they might want to put into an entry level role, and then, or they want a project done, and instead of hiring people, they'll just delegate it to the Data Science Society. The Data Science Society will get a team together and they'll pay the team. That's why you really made the society initiative. Wanted to have that, into the startup. Yep. That's not. I remember. Yeah.
And I'm going to be doing a very similar thing with Cruise. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at it as the FDI.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime around November, I'll have actual funding for projects.
Yeah. Would that be called an incubator? Like something akin to an incubator where you can use society kind of like.
It wouldn't have, it's not intentional, so it wouldn't have been with the intention of
Yeah.
putting people in there. But if I see bright minds, if I see that you guys want to do projects, then absolutely.
Yeah.
A big part of it's going to be, I've got a couple projects right now that are going to be priority parts for it. It's going to be Darcy, creating Darcy nodes to integrations and a system called Triage. I think it'd be pretty cool. That'll be my route to the funding.
Yeah. 'Cause I would love to kind of supplement in that way with those kind of things, where it's like you're able to actually provide people a pipeline into getting in, making a living in this industry.
Yeah.
That they're so passionate about.
It's something that could be done. I can at least help with funding projects and things once that does come in. So the two projects, you guys are familiar with Darcy.
Yep.
Darcy and Triage. When you're talking about possible projects, this is something that I thought of just because it covers a lot of the bases of what people are wanting to do. Darcy is a really big system that that at this point, I made it so it can plug into all these different things as nodes, and it all interacts with this core, which is it is reasoning. It is all the stuff that you're wanting from Postgres. It's being able to access, parse through internet results and things like that, and communicate with all these cores, which are very specialized, all the different nodes, which are more specialized needs. So they are specialized environments for agents. I think that creating a Darcy node would actually be a really decent project. Because you can say, okay, I want something in this industry. I want something in biomed. I want something in 3D modeling and engineering. I want something in just more general programming, writing, whatever you want to do. And it can plug in with that reasoning. I could even just create an instance of the Darcy core for AI Society. It's become pretty modular. The other option is Triage. There's something that the INL created called Emerald. It's spelled like that. It's for risk assessment. So it's an AI system that they run with all their nuclear stuff for risk assessment and analysis of everything. It maps out physical components, it maps out software, it finds vulnerabilities, it measures things in real time. So I'm creating Triage to be able to be a plug and play licensed service that you can plug into just about any system, and it can go through, find vulnerabilities in hardware, OS problems, in driver mismatches, anything, everything. Like with Windows. So I work at DirectStack. We do computer repair every single day. It ends up being problems with Windows updates, drivers installing wrong. I don't know how to do any regedit stuff. It's pages and pages and pages of how regedit works, and no one does. My uncle works at the INL. He does IT with them. Not a chance. And Triage can do all those things for you. It can do things like server maintenance, real-time monitoring for web services. And you can run it just plugging in NVMe into your computer. So I have one in an SSK, just about ready for testing. The problem is that things like this, this need a lot of funding because my current computer is not super happy about running the models or doing heavy distillation.
GPU or CPU basically have connections to further equipment who has access to all that stuff.
Yeah.
Campus is like the first week we could get connected.
That would be great. I like that. Yeah. I'm looking at options for it. But yeah, GPU is my bottleneck. CPU, I'm looking at a bit of a computer rebuild for like a 9950X or like a Threadripper 9960.
Come back with more speak as well.
That sounds good.
Wait, actually, no, we can just connect him now. Like, I remember his office is like right there. We can just send an email. Like, hey, I have this project I'm working on. Will you see you? Because I can something like that.
So I would love to be able to bring in AI Society on some of these things. I think it would be a great way for people to learn. I think it would be a good way for people to have that pipeline into real career experience, portfolios. I'd like to get people in on this stuff. I want Darcy to be something that people can work on with. It's a really powerful resource. Now, it's just about people throwing in integrations that they find useful. I've found actually a lot of success so far in things like 3D modeling, being able to create STL files from text, straight pipeline, text into a CNC machine, and it works fairly well. Protein pulling it's not too bad. It's at about a 70% success rate right now.
Like the Rosa Fold, I know it's like we have access to free because it's University of Washington, publicly funded, yada yada. It's like I'm thinking of like beginners projects because it's like that sounds like people who actually know what they're doing.
The thing is, the nice thing about Darcy is that there is an established contract for what comes into the node and what goes back to Darcy. That there's information that Darcy feeds into it, and that it needs to be able to feed back in just to be able to keep track of, be able to update knowledge, and keep things running. So as long as you know what your system can take in and process the information that's been given, and that it passes back the information that's specified in the contract, you'll have no problem. It's not too bad. You can do it with an OLAMA model and a bit of C#.
Do you want to go upstairs and like to send a message to Brother Movement really quick? Just so like you can introduce your face because he has access to all the keys.
Yeah.
Right? Like in my makerspace and service there, you can just use service, but
Yeah, nobody's here.
There's
It's
all
our
sorts of
semester.
no, just send a message, send an email, introduce yourself. This is the project I want to work on. Can I have access to CPUs and GPUs? And I already introduced Austin in the past. We're just like, hey, there's this guy with optimization. Do you want to? Just like, no, just send a message and then like, yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy in charge of getting the IEEE or engineering people internships. So he's really okay.
Yeah, so it's like, we can start right now in case before we forget.
Is he
but
here?
He's not here. Just send an email. It's a message.
Yeah,
Come on,
just
get it,
shoot it to
get it, get it, get it.
So,
Is that a 3A right there?
What?
Is that a 3A?
Oh no, that was just a really poorly written SA for specialized HS.
Oh, special needs.
No, INL spelled it differently.
Never mind.
Yeah, it's an acronym.
Let's go. You have your phone on you. Let's go.
Christine,
I
his
do,
email's
I
right
do.
here.
Specialized agents.
Yes.
Okay, this is what I got so
I
far.
got his email.
If you want to update it in here, you want to do that.
See Brother Gilman? No, that person. Ian.
So
Ian,
we're
your
gonna
face.
start
I didn't
right
know you had connections to Brother Gilman.
No, you just look up the teacher BYUI.
Turn your email now. Do your account now. That's unless I'm just like producer saying, hey, meet this blonde guy.
Oh, okay. So here's one more thing I want to share,
Yes.
which is one of the cool things that we have as an AI society that many other computing societies don't have, that I think might be a really good opportunity, is that we attract people who aren't technical. And we've seen that last semester.
Yeah.
We're able to attract a lot of people who aren't, and on the one hand, that means that we can do less projects. But there are certain things we can do with them, and we can turn them into clients.
Yeah.
Where, for example, either one is people who just want to learn how to use AI better for some use case, or two, like, hey, like for example, my girlfriend, I make her AI systems that she can use. And a few friends I know I've made AI systems for them, where they want to use AI for a specific use case, but there isn't going to be anything like out of the box that's just going to be able to work for it. So they know a guy, in this case me, who can set all that up for them, and now they can work with it. And now I have a person that I can get immediate feedback with, so that I can actually have a real user and get better and finding and making sure that a user would actually use this, right? But who knows? Maybe. So okay, one example is my girlfriend. Her name's Chelsea. She works. So her major is education, and so she's always wanting some new AI thing that can help her, like make, for example, lesson plans and to basically report on different students and come up with teaching things for each individual student, keeping track of all that and so on. And so, but she also knows people, and she'll tell me, hey, if you can actually get this working well enough, I might recommend it to one of my professors because they've been telling us about AI systems that we might want to use. And this system you just made helps me more than these ones they were recommending. And so maybe we can have something like that, where we can have people come in who either one, just want to learn how to use existing tools, or two, they want to use AI for a specific use case, and they might be able to hook up with or link up with a person who can create that for them, who's also looking for users.
You call them sponsors.
Sponsors.
Yes.
In senior projects, you need a sponsor to give you a cool idea so that you can make something for somebody else, not just for your CLI-based interface user.
Yeah, and with that, we can network. We can network with their connections, so we can connect instead of just self-serving where you make tech for tech people. It's like you're actually networking with people in other industries, and you know how to work with them.
So is that like not a client that we have, but we already have this thing that you've been working on? Is that something that you could take to the AI Society and then work on it to where it's like better whatever keeps you having taken care of, and then be able to say, okay, this is what I have. Chelsea, like, I'm willing to present this to your professor, and she can then say, hey, that's this thing like we're way better than that. It seems like that's what we do.
Yes.
You could also write her, if you have to finish a project, you can pretty much write it to like Y Combinator or like when the startups like you can see people can feel it, right? Don't do it. It's not good. It takes too much ownership.
And then
You
well,
said
at that
that
point, then we
So
start
like-
getting
It's really
representation
interesting.
around the different.
Y Combinator's run by Sam Altman. He funnels a lot out of that. Most of the talent.
So the on top of that, like
Yeah.
Maybe they can make something.
you don't actually own very much of that.
I think that's an opportunity
I don't know
we
much
have
about
more of
I just
than
really don't
other
like Sam
science.
But it's like kind of
And I know he runs
Especially because there's so many people
Funnels
from
talent out.
leadership, like
so
arms
like
that
one of the areas like
show
just
how
like
you
open
run.
source
Yeah.
open sources because
Like,
it's
I've
like
been
hey, you want
to
ownership of your project.
couple
Why?
of
Because you guys otherwise you kind of end up like just like a decentralized or
and I don't remember anybody that was.
you get very similar issues to like say
That was
I don't know, no one has access
Yeah.
to the person building models from what was it, DeepMind, and you have no access to like the diabetes drugs. It's just like even from the same.
Oh,
Mhm.
understand, yeah, how like big tech companies hold local area vaccines to themselves, so they.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
why like I did projects open source and decentralizing who has ownership of the project.
Very social stuff.
Based on.
So,
Yeah.
is that a good idea though, like, lots of projects break them down into, ability level, Darcy being one, Trio being one, sponsored projects from other students being one, and then people that know what they're doing become de facto project leads. People that want the project, if that's one of them, they become project sponsors. If you don't know what you're doing, you go to either crash course or basics course. Basic being like, how do I use AI? I just want to use it for myself. Like a lot of sponsors might just want to know that better prompt engineer. But then like if you want to be a project DevOps, you go to crash course if you don't know what to do. After 3 weeks, everyone's put into projects. Once you're comfortable, you go put into projects. And so the whole thing, projects get you experience, projects get you recognition and money, projects get projects done. And does that idea work?
Yeah. That sounds
Projects
good.
being the core, crash course getting you up to speed if you're not already, basics course getting you up to speed to where if you don't want to be a master, you just want to be a basic person. Everyone from across campus can join. If you don't know how to use it, go to the basics course and you're probably going to be a sponsor.
That is kind of one of the biggest bottlenecks we have is that we don't have how to finish a project.
Yes.
And I'm curious if actually after this semester how to finish a project, even though it's just a deadline.
Yeah.
Right, because it's like it's fun to theorize about this kind of stuff, but without a finished product, we can't like ask for funding, we can't have proposals, we can't have clients, all that stuff is just like foo-foo.
Yes.
You can, but it's still a really good idea to finish a project so that we can drive our
Just just
Yeah.
even if it's like half finished, or just like the prototype, you were trying to later, but like without a finished project, it's just us theorizing in our
Yeah,
answers for an
true.
hour.
And I think, so as far as projects are concerned, I'm great with working on my own, but like, I think one of the things that society really need to um, supplement a lot is for people that don't have a lot of experience, like working in a company with this stuff before, like knowing how to do that kind of stuff. Like knowing how to work in a team where it's like, okay, you aren't the only person developing on this. You probably need some documentation.
Most people in the school don't know how to truly use Git either.
Yeah, because they've
It's
never
such
they've
an
never
amazing
worked with
team.
you.
Yeah.
Like for them, it's nothing more than just you just save your work, right? They don't have to do a PR. They don't have to merge. They don't because they've
They
never
don't
worked with a
have, they have
team.
no version control.
That is one of the few things I can bring. I don't know much about AI other than basic courses, but I've been a project lead for Data Science Society for like 3 semesters on a very technical project where, I'm not very talented at project leading, but I've been in Crucible a few times.
Mhm.
So at least I know something. A lot of people, this is so exciting, and then like week 2 they drop off because it's really technical.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah.
breaking it into beginner projects and something you can do, teaching people how to get right off the bat, that stuff really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
being straight up with people. This sounds cool, but you have to know this kind of stuff.
Read it.
I'm just agreeing.
Another creative project that is, you guys know how to work with generative art.
With what?
Remotely.
Generative art. I mean, I'm no expert, but like I know how to make a good prompt, make it look good art.
You can recruit like a lot of creative people that way.
No, not really.
No, you can't.
Every
The
creative person,
community despises.
every
generative.
creative
Yeah,
hates
yeah.
generative AI.
Like most all art students don't like that.
I don't like generative.
My wife
content
avoids
either.
businesses
I
that
love
use
AI,
generative
but I'm
AI.
not a fan of generative.
I think the main if we're gonna go with generative images, I think the main area where that would be more well received would be websites.
Right.
Like people who are into web dev.
Yeah, because they're not gonna guarantee, they're just like, I just
Even
want a website.
even web dev
Still-
doesn't use generative content
Yeah.
anymore. They use stuff like Basically for
Yep.
use stock and actual program.
Creatives
Mm.
I
use
was into
generative.
generative AI because I have the imagination for it.
And that's what it's good for, prototyping, laying out websites, because I also, if I have to develop a website, I'm like, you should see mine, they're ugly and hideous.
I thought
So-
a great web designer or someone else. Great prices. It's my fiance.
Oh,
Oh, by the way, I proposed to my girlfriend over the weekend.
Whoa! Hooray!
What's that?
I said, do you need a ring?
I will never say no to her. I love rings, actually.
Oh, do you have a ring? I have buckets of them, because I move them so fast.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
I only had the one, and also, you probably don't have fingers my size.
What size?
9 to 10. They're at Walmart, do the best thing. Yeah.
Or
Or,
really nice work.
I have the GPU, 3 filaments, like 3D printing too.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
I just gotta roll it, it's so fun.
What size is it again?
9 to 10. Yeah, that's a little stretched out there. Come on.
So as far as I know what to do, I know how to like take on a project and go, okay, this is my project. I'm one guy. I'm just gonna work on it. But I need to like learn about like doing stuff in an actual like team of working on projects. and stuff,
We-
right?
We could do that the next semester, the rest of the
Yeah.
semester, be our own project lead, take turns doing stuff if we need to, project lead, DevOps,
Yeah.
QA. We could teach ourselves GitHub, planning the rest of the course could be the project, or working on your project.
And then there's other things as well, like for example, how would you want to manage, for example, let's say there's a project lead is the person who's going to be in charge of architecture.
Yeah.
They're gonna determine like all the high level stuff, they're gonna determine all the architecture, all the system design, raising caching, this, that, all that kind of stuff, right? And then you gotta delegate it down to other people that might not be good enough to like do it at that level, but they can be good enough to get a small section of that. How do we wanna do that? I don't know.
And
Like,
how do we
like are we gonna
incentivize
use Jira? Are we gonna like how deep do societies do that? I don't know.
And how do we incentivize people to consistently work past the 2 weeks that you're talking about?
give them a victory early on, make them feel like they can contribute. Because whenever I was like, hey, this is a bioscience project, you gotta learn all these things. Here's the massive Git repo that I already basically made myself. It's super easy because I know it all. Just jump in there. Then it's too scary.
I have a less complicated solution. Ask people on adventures for After Society where people may show up.
Do fun stuff too.
Just
But if you give them a little teeny victory, it's just to like, hey, can you comment this and push that to GitHub? Because now you're learning GitHub. But that's if we don't have the crash course. That's if people don't know how to use GitHub. Learning GitHub would be great. The crash course might be the solution, where they feel competent and then they can pick their starter Pokemon. You know, they don't have to jump right in feet first and go.
So what commitments do we want to do? Of like, do we want to do something where like the next time we meet, like this person is going to do this person's going to do that, and so on? Because I can go like, okay, by the next time that I'll be here, I'll have this stuff or something.
We could do a whole mini thing for the next time we meet. We do a week of a crash course. So, and then we pick a project we're on week 4 right now of summer.
Mhm.
Week 5 and week 6. We do 2 more weeks of the summer semester, right?
I believe so.
No crash course.
3 weeks or something.
We're diving feet fit. Yeah, so I guess next week we either work on your project or make up a mini project or make the AI Society the project. One of those 3. And then practice doing it.
Yeah. So I think we kind of split things into planning how we're going to be doing the AI Society and projects. That's an so far. And
So I'm a lot of planning right now.
yeah, I think next time we meet, we can just make it a lot better. And probably just split it. If we want to look at like 30 minutes of like projects, and then maybe 30 minutes of other stuff.
You're not AI Society lead next semester?
No, that's most likely going to be Drew. I'll most likely be his vice president.
So we could still practice the stand up. Hey, welcome to the AI Society. Here's what we talked about last week. Here's what we're going to do. Anything before break? Okay, break. Practice. Keeping the flow of time, keeping minutes.
I mean, knowing Drew, you still might be like,
I might be handling a lot of stuff.
Project
just
side of it.
because
Just because
Drew's
he's
not
focused on
always
his
the greatest at like
science.
explaining detail that isn't advanced. So it might still end up being you saying, hey, everybody, let's get it done last week.
Yeah.
You can conduct your meetings in the past, present, future. And we did what we're gonna do. That's the whole meeting. And before we break, here's what we're doing. And here's what we plan for next week. See
Yeah.
you next week.
Alright.
Simplest way.
So, but next week I plan to try and have this a little bit better, and see if I can make meetings go a bit better, and just be a little more seamless, and remembering everything from them and picking up where we left off.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if I can just keep this here, and if we ever want to go off of it, in the future, we can do that, and or if I can share it with you guys. But I know it's nothing special, but. And apart from that, I'm also working on a personal project that I might just allow everybody to use kind of for fun, which is basically a Life OS system where you just go, okay, well, how do you manage computer processors? Okay, well, how do you manage a person in your life? So things like being able to know the importance of different things, when you have time to do them, and also which parts of the day are the best for this and that. And that way, you know how like you might put stuff into a Google Calendar, and then something changes, and you gotta change everything else in the Google Calendar. It's really, really tedious, and so you just don't do it. And now what you have planned is not all your reality. So I didn't like that. So wait a minute, what if I could just get AI system that can just really quickly update it if anything should change? And it's just really resilient. So that's one of the things I'm doing so far, as well as making it so it can be, it can know about agents, the different agents you have, and how much usage and or API budget you've had for each, and how to space that out across time. And that way, you can actually plan what you want AI to do in advance within your usage plans and so on. But
So like your own version of like Claude's dispatch.
kind of, but more aware of time, like within the future, as well as
We can start at 5:30.
it can also help people with teams. So now, okay, we want to do this thing, this person is best to do this task and so on, so you have a meeting between them.
And then I woke up.
I can just help with, okay, this person should do this commitment, this person should do this commitment, and so on. And I know they're gonna have time to do that within these parts of this week. And based off of how much free time they have, we know that we can give them this commitment and they'll have time to do it. And just managing all of that. I won't have all of that done by next week, but I'm gonna be working on it a little bit. I'm trying to think about what would be a good goal to set by next week.
I'm gonna try having the Darcy core ready for collaborators by the time this semester starts.
Okay.
So in the case that is something you guys want to work on with, I think these are I think it's just something that you would want to work on in a personal project. And I think it could work really well for a lot of the startup ideas you have. I think it even work really well just an illustration there for all of these things that you're talking about, like learning science and like data management. It works in like running in cycles, in like decision cycles. So it could work for more of that time awareness that you're talking about.
Alright. Okay. Yep, yeah. Alright. Okay, hey Tess, were you able to hear any of that?
Let me check that. One sec while I check the notes. Yes, the big through line is 2 tracks for users and builders. A quick crash course into projects, real portfolios, and sponsors. And by next semester, clearer roles and onboarding. I also heard near-term goals around better meeting continuity and having the Darcy core ready for collaborators.
Alright, very good. Let's wrap it up. Could you please just summarize everything so that we have things to pick up where we left off?
Let me pull that together.
Actually work really well.
The summary is on screen, and I've captured the main decisions and next steps.
I strongly recommend like putting that on your resumes. Like I implemented ways to text to summarize meetings and continuity
Agreed.
because it's all skills.
In short, focus on a
Well,
2-track
I didn't make
basics
the
and
voicemail,
technical
that's
crash course.
But I
Then
just
move
hooked
quickly
that
into
up
projects.
to my system, so
Projects create portfolios experience and maybe even funding with tracks like Darcy integrations, triage, sponsored projects, and personal systems like the Life OS. Non-technical members are a strength, not a bug, because they can be users, sponsors, and connectors. Near term, aim for better meeting continuity and getting the Darcy core ready for collaborators by semester start. That's your starting point for next time.
nice.
Do we want to share that summary?